Why do people with ADHD struggle to get things done? I'll give you a little hint. It's not because we're lazy, lack motivation, desire, or willpower. If you have ADHD, there's a very high likelihood that you struggle to get the things you need to do done. As a result, I would bet that this has caused you many issues in your relationships, school, work, and personal life. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why ADHDers struggle to get things done. The first is executive functioning. Despite the name, ADHD, short for attention deficit hyperactive disorder, is not a deficit of attention. It is, however, a deficit of executive function. So what is executive function? It's the part of your brain that tells you what to do when and allows you to follow through on those tasks step by step. Executive functioning controls the way we think about processes, working memory, focus, planning, and self-control. Sounds about right, huh? When you struggle to keep a goal in mind long enough to actually complete it, think through what steps you need to take to accomplish that goal, figure out the order you need to take those steps in, and follow through with those steps to completion without losing focus, it's not because you're stupid, lazy, or don't care. It's because you have ADHD and your brain struggles with executive functioning. Despite commonly held beliefs by non-ADHDers or those of us who have fallen for the shame imposed on us by neurotypicals, this is not a matter of you needing to try harder. It's not a lack of motivation, and it's not that you don't care enough to follow through. You need support. You need tools and resources, and you need to learn skills that people with ADHD can't even comprehend because they don't struggle with executive functioning. It is important to note that even among people with ADHD, there are varying levels of deficits and capabilities when it comes to executive functioning. Some people may only need to implement simple tools, systems, and medications, and that quickly solves their problems. Other people, like me, need way more help and support to overcome the challenges that we face with executive functioning. If you severely struggle in this area, you are not alone. Please do not let anyone tell you that you just need to try harder or it's all in your head. It's not. Please try to stay far, far away from those people if you can. And if you can't, don't waste your time trying to educate them if they show they are unwilling to change their inaccurate and harmful perspectives. There are people who will understand and work with you to give you the help and support you need. Flock to those people instead. If you want to meet more people like yourself, I run a free community called the Neurodivergent Network. The link is in the description. Please go sign up. This is a community of people who are just like you and will understand. The second reason why people with ADHD struggle to get things done is due to time blindness. Time blindness is also very common and affects the way we think about and perceive time. ADHDers have more difficulty than those without ADHD in estimating how long a task will take, how long a task took us after it's complete, and how much time has passed. Here is my unofficial and unscientific test for how much you struggle with time blindness. Think about 3 days and 3 months. Do they feel like different periods of time to you? Logically, we know these are different amounts of time, but to people who struggle with time blindness, they feel the same. If I tell you that you have 3 days to complete a task or 3 months to complete a task, those are just words, and you likely have the same emotional reaction to both. You either think you have plenty of time or you have anxiety about the impending deadline. For us ADHDers, there's rarely an in-between. But of course, neither of those responses results in you calmly sitting down, writing out a plan, and progressively implementing each step of the plan over the coming hours or days. That's because that would require executive functioning skills. It's important to note that the struggles we face around time are not unique to people with ADHD. There are studies that show that people experience time differently depending on the task that they're doing. And while anyone can experience differences or difficulties in how they experience time, these struggles are more frequent, pervasive, and traumatizing for people with ADHD. Sometimes our inability to get things done is a result of the trauma we've experienced in the past due to our time blindness. Buffering is a really good example of this. Suffering is when you have an obligation at a specific time and you find it impossible to do anything productive while you wait for that time to come. If you've ever missed an appointment because you were trying to complete a task while waiting and then lost track of time, so you missed that appointment, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The ADHD trauma runs deep, y'all. The third reason we struggle is called pathological demand avoidance or oppositional defiant disorder. Demand avoidance or defiance is common among neurodivergent people, and it's rarely talked about. I've studied ADHD and mental health non-academically for the past 10 years, and these terms have only recently come to my attention. So this is a sneaky and pervasive issue, but it explains why sometimes we want to complete a task but can't due to our struggle with executive function or not being able to remember verbal instructions. But then there's other times that it's not that we can't complete the task, it's not that we don't understand it, or even that we don't want to do it. It's that we don't like being told what to do, we find the task unnecessary, or we don't agree or understand the reasoning behind it, so we don't do it. And that is how PDA or ODD can manifest. And here's the thing, this doesn't just apply to things other people tell us to do. This can even apply to things we tell ourselves to do. Personally, this explains so many of the issues I've had over the years with getting things done. It also explains some other things like anger, road rage, and difficulty with authority figures, but let's not get into that right now. While I've made a lot of progress on all of these fronts, it can still be a big hurdle to get things done, even when you know it exists. So those are the three major reasons why we struggle to get things done. There are, of course, others, but executive functioning, time blindness, and PDA or ODD can be some pretty big reasons. So what do we do about it? It's important to note that people with ADHD do not lack motivation, willpower, or desire. What we do lack are the tools, skills, and resources to overcome our difficulties with executive functioning, time blindness, and PDA or ODD. If motivation, willpower, or desire were enough to overcome these things, we would have fixed them already. The negative consequences we experience regularly as a result of these challenges would be more than enough to overcome deficits in motivation, willpower, or desire. That's how we know that those things are not the issue. And I will shout this from the rooftops until the end of time, or until people stop saying that ADHD is fake, or those of us who have it are just lazy, but I don't think that will ever happen. So please join me in shouting these things from the rooftops because more people need to hear it. What is the solution? The first is to let go of those incorrect and ableist reasons for our struggles that have been imposed on us over the years by neurotypicals. The second is to develop self-awareness to understand specifically what's going on for you individually in each circumstance where you're struggling. The third is to acquire tools, resources, and skills that allow you to work with your brain rather than fighting against it. And the fourth is to get support. We are not alone in our struggles, and together we can help each other overcome the common struggle that we face and be there for each other on the occasions when our efforts fall short. So if you want to dive deeper into this topic with me, I do offer one-on-one coaching, and you can find the link in the description below. I also run a free community called the Neurodivergent Network. The link is also in the description, and you can sign up for that as well if you want to meet more people who are like you. It's also estimated that a percentage of people with ADHD are also on the autism spectrum. So if you want to learn more about the contradictions of having ADHD and autism, watch this video next.